Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name's Adi. This is my garage. This is my driveway where everything is driveway built. Yeah, I've got the Renault R8. It's only a small one. If you follow me on the socials, you'd know that about a week and a half ago I got stranded. Driving along, car just stopped accelerated, wouldn't do anything with the throttle. And I did end up with the AA out, though I was already working on the car by the time they turned up, because it was about a 3-hour wait, which is pretty normal. And what actually came to light after removing everything, checking timing, making sure the spark plugs are right, making sure that the trigger wheel, which is down the bottom there, was right, was that the fuel pump was stuck. Now, shouldn't really happen, it is at the lowest point, but when we did flush it forward and back, we did get a lot of orange sediment out. Now the fuel filter is pretty clean, so there shouldn't have been anything there, but yeah, in the end we clattered it with a hammer and away it went. I haven't driven it very far since because it's a bit of an unknown. I'm not sure whether the fuel pump just got a little bit of grit in there and stuck, or it's failed completely, or I don't know. It is new, it is brand new, but to be safe we ordered another one. So we've got another facet solid state Posiflow pump, a couple of new fittings which I'm going to wind into it, and we're gonna, the one that's there, I'm going to keep it as a spare. I'll just chuck it in the car. I think I might put together a little sort of toolkit, emergency toolkit for it, because yeah, I hate getting stranded and not being able to fix things. So yeah, plan today is to build up that pump. Only going to be a short one. Take that pump out, replace it. I'm going to put a new filter in there as well. I might actually run 2 filters. Got filters somewhere. Yeah, if I put 2 filters in line, and we're running back to back as well, sort of to make sure that we're getting extra filtration just in case. But yeah, that's going to be today's job. The turbo conversion stuff's coming along nicely. Jim 20 at Jim 24/7 on Instagram, doing a shit hot job of modifying the Nissan 200SX SR20 depth manifold to the head and flange that I've supplied him. Not here, I can't really point at it because it's in his workshop at the moment. But once that's done, we shouldn't be a million miles off. We will have to clock this turbo to make sure it drains in the right direction. This is a normal C-Series camshaft. This is from Sparky. Sparky, I need to send this back to you, so I'll get your address. I've sent the Atmo cam, the Gordini cam, off to Sal Sacco, who's a bit of a legend in the Renault world as well. He's going to modify the cam for me. That way I don't have to faff around. I know it's going to be right straight off the bat, and I'll have that here. What else am I going to have to do? Fuel system. Now, I'm not sure how to go about this. Fuel system wise, I could remove the tank that's in there and drop a new one in the front. That's an expense I don't really want. And as I am driveway built and I'm looking around the room, garage for spares, I might try and modify this swirl pot, which was sent to me by Briggsy, I think. I can't even remember why I got it off him. It's probably a trade of something of some sorts. It's a swirl pot, fuel swirl pot, which I could probably utilise to run a pressurised return system. Oh, would you look at that? Near enough fits then. But you know what? Anyway, right, so yeah, the idea is you have a swirl pot for your fuel on this setup to feed the carb. Now, it sounds a bit weird actually. Let's start again. Right, so the fuel tank I've got here that's already fitted to the car is a single outlet to a pump, which then gets fed up to the carb. It's internally regulated to like 3 or 4 psi. That pump and the new one I've got over there flow for about 160 brake horsepower, and self-regulate, but should actually be enough for what I need Now turbocharged different, and turbocharged with a carb is different. You need a bit more flow, and you need a rising rate fuel pressure regulator to keep a consistent flow of fuel into the bowl of the carb, which is up there, built by Sparky, to make sure that when you're blowing air through it, pressurized air, that the fuel pressure is always, I think it's 4 psi above boost pressure, which obviously needs a bit more flow than a little clacky facet can provide. So what I could do is use the facet, and I know this works because I've done this before on my old GT Turbo carb converted Renault 5 Gordini Turbo many years ago though. But what you can do is use your clacker to fill this. You then set up a second pump, higher flow pump off the bottom of this, which goes to a regulator, then to the carb. The regulator will dump fuel back to this one, usually through there, and then when it overflows, that then goes back to the tank. Now I need then an overflow or a return to a tank, so there's a couple of ways you can do this. Now if you do a fuel pressure regulator, you can actually dump the fuel that's regulated back pre pump, and that works. It's an old school way of doing it, and basically you dump any excess fuel pre-pump and the pump then sucks it through again. On this though, I think we could probably get away with just modifying the fuel filler, because you know this just goes straight into the tank. So really I need a return that just dumps fuel back into there, dribbles it back into the tank, and I think I could probably get away with it that way, though I am unsure of how I'm going to go about it yet. Things are going to change in here. Turbo's all going to be mounted on this side, and inlet on this side with a carb on this side. So I'm probably going to have to remove all this now. I'm not rushing to do it, but things are coming along quite quickly. So I'm quite happy about it, but it's not going to be done before Retro Rides Weekend at Goodwood. Though I think if I go to that event, which is in about 2.5–3 weeks, in this, when I get back, I could probably get it completed, fingers crossed, famous last words. I could probably actually convert this by Retro Rides Gathering in August, which would be quite cool. Obviously I'll have to get it mapped again to suit, but I think that's an achievable target. So this, turbo converted, ready for Retro Rides Gathering in August. And there's a few things I need to do as well on top of just the fuel system of bolting a load of bits together that we're getting. I'm going to have to, once I've removed the head, I do have to modify the block to accept have a bigger hole for the push rods, because the push rods come on a different angle. Got the push rods in there. Got the gasket, got the head. I think I've got the majority of stuff. I'm going to have to take the sump off and put an oil return on the sump as well. And I'm in two minds whether I pull the whole engine out and do it, or I just do it in situ. And the other thing is then, do I intercool it as well? We're only going to be running really low boost, probably 4 or 5 pound of boost. I'm really scared about the clutch and the gearbox shitting itself. But so what I could do is just have the turbo outlet dump straight back into the carb. So off the turbo somewhere here, straight down and back into the carb. Only 4 or 5 pound of boost. Don't really need to worry about it. It'll get it up and running quite nicely, and still should do 100 horsepower quite easily. In fact, a similar engine I had with this carb setup did 150-ish horsepower on about 7 pound of boost, which is massive for this. So I've got to keep it down, and it's more for shits and giggles, more for the fun of it, to actually do a turbo conversion and cross flow head conversion on this engine. And then we've got to link it up to the exhaust as well. But yeah, I'm tempted, if you can see here, is the air actually comes in here. So I could chop this section out, get an intercooler made which sits flat there. The fan will still be used, pulling air through, not only the intercooler then, but the rad as well. And I'm wondering if I just chop out here and here, turbo inlet into an intercooler which sits across the back there, old school Porsche style, then back out into the carburetor. But I think that's more the finesse stuff. I'd have to chop this to suit, still try and get a good seal across there. And is an intercooler really worth it on such low boost? But yeah, we'll see where we get to. We'll get it physically in and running first. But as usual, a lot of waffling, not a lot of doing. but I've got a few bits kicking around which we could probably make it work with. But anyway, for now it's going to be, let's replace the fuel pump. So I've set it up so that I can actually just remove it with two 10mm. I've got riv nuts into the wing, so two 10mm bolts, that should drop off, disconnect the fuel lines from it, and we should be good to go. But we'll get it together and see how it goes. Oh, there we go. It's probably about 30 seconds for you, probably about 5 minutes for me. Nothing major. Here's the old pump. Can't see anything going on in there. There's no crud or anything inside that I can see. Yeah, not sure on that one. Like I say, it stopped working. We gave it a clout, and then it started again. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put the earth is mounted. The earth goes to one of the mounts that I use for it anyway. I'm going to put the fuel pump, the main feed, on a bullet connector, just so that I'll rewire this one with 1-2, so that worst case I can quickly swap them out of the side of the road if I have another issue. But yeah, bit of a funny one that. Like I say, it's worked fine since too. The only little grievance, I guess, is I did all this and this electronic conversion with the fuel pump, the ECU and everything, so that we ditched the Dizzy, we ditched the old fuel pump, so that we didn't have these sort of issues, and we gained confidence and reliability in the vehicle. And I've been using it quite a bit up until that point, so it sucks a little bit to have lost a touch of confidence with it, just from having a fuel pump sort of lock up, I guess. But yeah, anyway, let's get the bullet crimps on and then we'll see where we're at. So here we are, we've lashed up two filters in line, sucked the fuel through a little bit. I didn't think the filter looked that bad actually, so that's a new filter, but yeah, that's an old one. I say old, it's probably done a few 100 miles, and I've never removed the tank and cleaned it out, so crap is definitely getting to the filter. So I might have to look at a better solution. But yeah, she should go nicely though, because I drove her here obviously. There we go, she's up and running. I didn't have a bullet connector in the end, so I've ended up just having to use a normal crimp for now. I have to get some of the air out of these filters. It's sucking through and it's running, so yeah. Dirty. Right, hopefully we should be back up and running now. I'll get some sort of big single filter with a clamp that I can put in there nicely. I need to have a real think about fuel setup for the turbo, whether I keep it all back here or I just spend some extra money and maybe get an aluminium fuel tank at the front, maybe cut the floor out to suit, I don't know. I got a little while to think on it and browse eBay and Facebook Marketplace. But yeah, thanks for watching this short video. If you like the content, like and subscribe. We'll be doing more bits and bobs on this. But yeah, so far so good. And despite the rainy weather, I might take it for a drive. But yeah, Thanks again for watching. If you can click like and subscribe, that'd be great. Catch you next video.